right, good afternoon. For those that don't know me, my name is Daryl Samper. I'm the chief of the department. Thanks for coming out today. Before we get started, I just want a couple housekeeping things. If you need to use the restroom, exit behind the engine here, second door on your left is a restroom. Also, for those getting awards, kind of the way that's going to play out is as I announce those, you can come up, I'll shake your hand, you'll get your award, and then I'll stay on that side and do a photo. For the families that came, if you want to stick around afterwards, our communications department will be here to take family photos with you guys. So if you're interested in that, feel free to stick around afterwards. And I think that's it. But again, before I get started, I just wanted to thank, again, everyone for coming out. We have 3 council members here, Councilwoman Emily Bauman, Councilwoman Melissa Sampe, Councilwoman Andrea Rakowski. I want to thank our communications department for setting this all up for me. It's a big deal. So this is an important day in the Westland Fire Department, not because of the formality or the ceremony itself, but because of what it represents. We pause from the daily grind of runs and training and station duties to pay special recognition to those who went above and beyond in 2025. And I say special recognition because whether you receive an award today or you don't receive an award, I appreciate the dedication and commitment to the department and to the community from all of our firefighters, really the extraordinary people who make this department what it is. I appreciate the work that's been done to make this day better and better each year, and I hope whoever follows me in this position continues the program for decades to come. Most of those receiving the awards today don't do so to seek recognition. They simply think they're doing their jobs. But these individuals were nominated by their peers or members of the community for pushing our department forward, making us better today than we were yesterday. And for that, I just want to say thank you. Makes me incredibly proud to be the head of this organization. And with that said, let's move on to the more important stuff. Unfortunately, the mayor couldn't be here today. He's trying to move the city forward as well, but he asked me to dedicate some awards to you guys on his behalf, so that will be part of this as well. The Firefighter of the Year is given to a firefighter nominated by his peers for exemplifying the qualities of a professional firefighter. This individual's coworkers use terms like professionalism, passion, and knowledge when describing his abilities as a firefighter. He was instrumental in getting this awards program on track when I took over as the fire chief, and he also continually invests his own time to better himself, the department, and his involvement on urban search and rescue, teaching our firefighters and training our firefighters. For these reasons and more, I would like to congratulate Sergeant Engineer Kevin Caldwell for the 2025 Firefighter of the Year. Hopefully this goes smoother on my end going forward. I had something all set up, and then I had a bunch of changes thrown in there at the end, and it threw me off a little bit on my preparation. So, the Paramedic of the Year is given to a firefighter-paramedic who is nominated by his peers for exemplifying the qualities of a professional pre-hospital emergency care provider. This individual's coworkers use words like motivating, great skills, and confidence when describing him. I know from personal conversation that he is committed to moving the department forward in all areas of emergency service. And for these reasons, and many more, I would like to congratulate Casey Hannon as the 2025 Paramedic of the Year. The Fire Officer of the Year is given to a captain or above who's nominated by his peers for exemplifying the qualities of an officer in the Westland Fire Department. This individual was nominated by several members across all of our shifts. His coworkers use terms like knowledge and integrity as a leader. They further comment on setting expectations and not wavering on those expectations. These are all qualities that I look for in our company officers and in this department. For these reasons, and many more, I would like to congratulate Adam Lozen as the 2025 Fire Officer of the Year. To receive the Award of Valor, the firefighter from the Westland Fire Department must, in the performance of duty while on the call, under hazardous conditions in which the member is confronted with imminent personal risk, but had no prior knowledge of that risk, performs an act of conspicuous heroism which furthers the highest traditions of the fire service. In most cases, this award is issued when this act of conspicuous heroism saves a life. On January 16, 2025, Westland Fire units attempted to extinguish a well-involved structure fire, which resulted in the death of a citizen. Captain Ellis, firefighter Eiler, and firefighter Good made a push into the interior of the structure in an attempt to extinguish the fire extension into the first floor ceiling and the basement, while leaving firefighter Cervantes at the interior garage door to advance hose. During an attempt to access the basement door, Captain Ellis fell up to his arms through the first floor into the basement and became entrapped in a collapsed wall. The basement fire remained involved and became visible. With impinging fire, firefighter Ellis and firefighter Good were able to successfully knock down the basement fire and remove Captain Ellis from the basement in which he was trapped. During this harrowing event, all parties remained calm, provided each other with good communication, and formulated a plan to mitigate the situation. This was easily accomplished because of the crew's constant readiness, integrity, and training regimen. We lose about 100 firefighters annually in the line of duty deaths. About a third of those are from traumatic incidents. This could have easily been one of those. We suffered one of these in 2013, and we try to work forward to never have that again. I think these people were instrumental in preventing that from happening again, and for that reason, we are issuing a Medal of Valor to Firefighter Good and Firefighter Eiler for their valiant efforts. Come over here. That's my big list. You. Got both of them? Yeah. Two for these guys. There you go. Hold this one. Perfect. All right. So this program really, for a lot of years, was fairly underdeveloped. And as I mentioned earlier, Sergeant Caldwell, when I became the firefighter, wanted to move this program forward. And while I would never give our police department very much credit and say that they do something better than the fire department does, they did do their awards ceremony and those things better than we did. So I wanted that to change. I think Sergeant Caldwell and Russ Crawford, who were part of that committee, also wanted that to change. However, every year, we realize we can do things a little bit better. And for this year, we had to change things up and add a different award, because sometimes people do things that don't necessarily fit the awards that were designed and defined, but meet some type of conduct that is award deserving. So With that, this new award, Meritorious Conduct. To receive the Meritorious Conduct Award, a Westland firefighter must be a person who performs a notable act of distinction in the brave performance of duty in the face of danger, placing the safety of others above their own personal risk, reflecting, again, the highest traditions of the fire service. On January 16, 2025, in the early morning hours, Westland fire units were dispatched to a working structure fire on McDonald in Westland. On the arrival of the crew from Station 2, they were assigned interior fire attack and search for a reported victim inside. Entering the single-family house from the front door, the firefighters were faced with significant fire conditions, which included extreme heat and near-zero visibility. Despite rapidly deteriorating conditions, which included fire burning through a hole in the floor, the crew advanced the hose line into the structure, fighting fire as they searched for the victim. Operating in these dangerous conditions, the crew located the victim and removed him from the structure despite significant personal risk. Although the victim was ultimately found to be deceased, the actions of these 4 firefighters reflect the highest standards of the Westland Fire Department and the fire service in general. Therefore, Sergeant Polite, Firefighter Gushan, Firefighter Boffin, and Firefighter Chisholm all received the Meritorious Conduct Award for their valiant efforts. The Life-Saving Award is given to a Westland firefighter who is principally involved in saving the life of another person and whose personal actions were directly responsible for such life-saving act. On February 22, 2025, Rescue 4 was dispatched to an EMS run for chest pain. While obtaining vital signs, the patient went into cardiac arrest. The crew immediately called for assistance and found the patient to be in a lethal cardiac rhythm. CPR was started and the firefighters shocked the patient several times and continued advanced life support measures. The firefighters were able to get return of spontaneous circulation and the patient was transported to the hospital where he received a cardiac stent. The patient was released from the hospital several days later. This life-saving award is issued to Firefighter Hannon, Firefighter Madalino, Sergeant Brookshire, and Firefighter Jordan for providing life-saving care through immediate intervention that supported life until the patient could have cardiac stent placed. These actions represent the highest standards in the fire service and should be commended. On September 4th, 2025, Westland Fire Station 1 responded to a reported smell of smoke from an apartment building. Following investigation, the captain found that a lower unit apartment was charged with smoke. The crew stretched a hand line in and made entry where it was confronted with smoke banked down to the floor. Half of the crew searched to extinguish the fire and the other half performed a primary search for victims. They quickly found the fire in the living area of the residence and knocked it down. This aggressive work allowed the other part of the crew to complete their primary search of the apartment in which they found the victim in the bedroom. The victim was rapidly extricated from the apartment and transported to the hospital, and all these actions were completed within the first 2 minutes of being on scene. The teamwork and commitment to duty directly resulted in the life-saving measures. This coordinated effort exemplifies the highest traditions of the fire service. Therefore, Captain Music, Firefighter Cotter, Firefighter Phipps, and Firefighter Cervantes all received the Life-Saving Award. unit commendation is awarded to members of the Westland Fire Department for a credible act in the line of duty, which is commendable in nature and displays admirable initiative and accomplishment working as a team. On February 26, 2025, 2 individuals were trapped in a trench in Wyandotte, Michigan. The initial arriving units arrived to a secondary collapse with trapped victims inside. The initial arriving fire units activated the Western Wayne County Urban Search and Rescue Team and were able to extricate the second victim. 3 members of the Westland Fire Department that are part of the Western Wayne USAR team responded. On arrival, the USAR team established a safe work area and evaluated the scene, seeing that the victim was trapped in the trench approximately 15 foot deep. Sergeant Caldwell was in charge of the operations on scene, and Sergeant DG as well as Captain Proctor were part of the crews that stabilized and shored up the trench with cut plywood and lumber. The victim was removed with only minor fractures to his legs. The actions by these individuals had a positive impact on the survival and immediate health of the victim. Each of these men represent the Westland Fire Department in a professional manner with integrity and courage. For these actions, each of them will receive a unit commendation. Sorry, I got to read these because my deputy chief wrote this, and I would never say half the stuff that's in here. So, on September 4th, 2025, all available Westland Fire units were dispatched to an apartment fire in the Landings apartments. First arriving units found one apartment that had smoke banked to the floor with obviously working structure fire conditions. Operating as a team under hazardous conditions, the initial arriving crews successfully removed the victim from the apartment of origin. Through a coordinated team effort, including fire attack, stretching of hose lines, search and rescue operations, and pump operations, this unit successfully rescued the victim, and the victim was transported to a local hospital. For this exceptional unit cohesion, the following firefighters will receive unit commendation for their efforts: Captain Music, Firefighter Cotter, Firefighter Phipps, Firefighter Wright, Firefighter Trotter, Firefighter Jones, and Firefighter Cervantes. Good to see you again. Good to see you again. This next award is nice because I really kind of just get to pick this based on myself, really. So for that, Sergeant Keaton Haddad, who spends countless hours with help with our continuing education for EMS, whether that be advanced cardiac life support, basic life support, pediatric advanced life support, and now even trauma life support. There's a drawback to doing these in an apparatus bay of a fire station. But really, without his really kind of commitment to that program, it wouldn't be nearly as successful as it is. So for that, I offer, which I'm not sure is here, Sergeant Keaton Haddad Distinguished Service Award. And last but definitely not least, I'm sure the majority of firefighters here, of the many things they dislike about me, my push for exceptional customer service is probably at the top of their list. So the Exceptional Service Award goes to members of the Westland Fire Department that bring public acclaim to represent the department in a positive or professional manner. The result of these actions show devotion to duty and service to the public. Each year, the department receives numerous calls, letters, or emails from citizens or visitors to the community that express appreciation for the exceptional level of service provided by our members. These messages constantly highlight the professionalism, the compassion, and the dedication that members of our department display in emergency and non-emergency scenarios. Such recognition reflects the high standards upheld by the members of our department, and each deserving of the recognition with being provided Exceptional Service Award. Captain Proctor, Sergeant DG, Sergeant Caldwell, Firefighter Hannon, Firefighter Price, Firefighter Ramirez, Firefighter Farmer, and Firefighter Pillen are all worthy of this Exceptional Service Award. All right, so that includes the award portion. Again, I want to thank everybody for coming out, showing their support, not only to your friends or families or loved ones here, but to the department and to the community. I appreciate that as the fire chief, and I appreciate you taking time out of your day to come to this event. Again, like I said, the communications department will be sticking around to take pictures with family if you choose to do so. Just meet them over here in front of the engine. And thanks again.